Welcome to the course. My name is Todd Vachev. I am a best-selling instructor on Udemy and I have several years of experience with MATLAB. I will be your instructor for this course. This course was developed with the strict oversight of Hristo Zhivomirov. Hristo is in the top 50 MATLAB contributors worldwide. You can view his work on his MATLAB Central profile. He has shared over 40 programs that can help you in your work if you're working with signals with a high emphasis on a clear visual representation. Now, what does your daily dose of matrix pills contain? This course is oriented at the absolute beginner, so it starts slowly with the ABC of MATLAB. Even if you already have some experience with MATLAB, I am certain that you will learn new things in the beginners sections. As the course progresses, we're moving towards more and more complex topics. There is a very strong emphasis on writing high quality code, documenting your code, and good programming practices throughout the course. Each section in the course contains a project to practice what was already learned and learn something new while practicing what you already knew, a quiz to test your knowledge of each section, and source code files so that you can review the code that I have written during the lectures and experiment with it. So what will you exactly learn in this course? First, you will get acquainted with the interface of MATLAB and how to save your work in files. The most important thing that you will learn in this first introductory section of the course is how to reorganize the layout of MATLAB to your specific needs. First, we will start with variables. Everything you need to know about variables in MATLAB, their types or lack of types, converting between different types, naming conventions, the semicolon operator, and more. Then we move on to basic arithmetic operations. The most important thing in this section of the course are the brackets and the order of operations. Many beginners get lost when they encounter complex expressions, and you will become a master of those. The first project that you will have to complete is in the middle of the third section, right after we have covered most of the basics. It's a pretty simple project where we will implement the Pythagorean theorem and use comments to turn on or off parts of code. Right after that, we are diving deep into the waters, starting with vectors. You will learn how to think in vectors and perform a variety of different operations on and with vectors, concatenating vectors, extracting or selecting subvectors, and more. There are two sections on vectors, and both of them have projects. The project in the first section deals with some gathered data, in this case nutrients intake over the course of 4 weeks or 28 days, and then we will analyze that data by extracting data from the vector for the different weeks, and then comparing them day by day. The second project will build upon the first project, and now that same data will be randomly generated, and we will be looking for specific pieces of information that are of interest to us. Matrices are next on the line, but you won't need any pills because we are not in the Matrix movie, and also because I have you covered. You will learn everything you need to know about working with matrices in MATLAB, and you will also learn a trick in this section that will help you optimize your code and make it run up to 100 times faster. For this section, we will again have two projects, but this time we go a bit deeper and the projects start becoming more complex and longer. In both projects, we will deal with the basics of image processing. You will learn how to work on a basic level with black and white images and colorful images. You will generate your own images and also work with images that you will download from the internet. Data visualization, because, well, what's the point of working with data if you can't understand it, if you can't visualize it or share it with other people? Visualizing data is key in any area of work. The project for this section will be Introduction to Handles and how you can more efficiently apply properties to multiple plots at the same time without rewriting a ton of code. And finally, we get to the first actual MATLAB programming by utilizing conditional statements. Here you will learn how to use the most basic if-else statements, then if-else-if, nested if statements, switch, and the difference between switch and else-if. Here, in the project for this section, we will practice different ways of using conditional statements. Particularly, we will apply them in setting different properties to our plots from the data visualization project based on some condition. So if we get good values, our lines will be green. If we get bad values, we will get red lines. Loops are one of the best things that you can learn and implement in your code. First, to eliminate redundant code and to make it much more easier to re-evaluate a given piece of code for different conditions. You will encounter the longest, most complex and probably hardest project in the entire course at the end of the loops section. It consists of 5 long lectures. We will use loops to simulate the motion of a point in 2 dimensions. Think about throwing a rock. The equations that we will use will model exactly that kind of motion. We will also animate the motion as different initial conditions, plot all of these different scenarios, then animate each of the scenarios. Additionally, in the section itself, we will have a mini project where we will make MATLAB play sounds of different frequencies, again with the help of loops. Functions are extremely useful. We use them all the time. This is one layer of abstraction that we can create to reduce the complexity of our code and make it more modular. This is where you will have your final project. We will use functions to break down the complex loops project into separate, manageable parts and reduce the complexity in the main file. And please, if you have any question, do not hesitate to ask it. I am doing my best to answer all questions within 24 hours and more often than not within just a few hours, but I'm never leaving a question without an answer. So if you have a question, ask it. I will surely answer it. I hope that you will enjoy this course as much as I did creating it, so let's dive right into it.